Hey, it's Jake Mace, the vegan athlete. I'm gonna show you guys today how to plant seeds in your garden. Actually, I'm gonna show you guys how I plant seeds in my garden. There's many ways to plant seeds. I'm gonna show you guys how Jake Mace, the vegan athlete, does this. Before we start, please hit the like button for me and subscribe to my YouTube channel here. We got hundreds of videos now on all facets of gardening and food and the vegan lifestyle and the dogs, just like Venus right here. All right, and I got this amazing package in the mail. And this is from one of my favorite companies out there called the Baker Creek Seed Company, and they're at rareseeds.com. If you guys go to rareseeds.com, I don't get paid by them, I just love them a lot. Tell them that Jake Mace sent you. So in the comments with your order, say, hey, Jake Mace sent me, and I'd really appreciate that. When I have to purchase seeds, I like supporting companies that are either local at local seed banks, or companies that deal in open pollinated heirloom varieties of seeds like Baker Creek, or even like the Native Seed Search Company. These are all great companies you can get your seeds from. I also save my own seed, which is the most powerful way to garden. So saving your own seeds will make your plants healthier in the long run, and it's free, and you can garden for free. Let me show you guys what I got in this year's order, because for me, and everybody who gardens like me in the Phoenix area, the fall is the best time to garden. We can grow all of our winter veggies. We can grow pretty much anything, and it will stay growing and healthy and mature all the way until about May, June when it gets hot next summer. You guys ready? Here's the bounty of new seeds that I got from Baker Creek for this year. So one of them is called this Atomic Red Carrot. Excuse my gardening hands, I've been gardening all day today. Atomic Red Carrot. I'm gonna make lots of kimchi, so we've got the cabbage, kind of like Napa cabbage, but this one is this variety. We've got different kinds of yard-long beans. I love growing yard-long beans. These are all pole beans that climb up a trellis. These are the green variety. We've got some snow peas, Oriental greens, the Wong Bok cabbage. Different kinds of beets like Detroit red beet. We got the bull's blood beet. We got more of the Chinese cabbage. This one's called Hitten. This is my dinosaur kale. I love dinosaur kale. We've got the beet flat of Egypt, so flat beet of Egypt. We got the curly kale purple variety. These are my favorite carrots to grow. They're not the biggest carrots in the world, but they're so much fun because they're so purple. But then you bite them open and they're actually orange like a traditional carrot on the inside. We've got the early wonder beets. They mature really fast. We've got some edible flowers here, some viola, Johnny jump ups that I've had, so I'm gonna put those in the garden. And we've got some yard-long beans that are the red variety. I've never planted these before. They're called Chinese red noodle. Those look pretty good. These carrots are fantastic, the Danvers carrots. They're a really satisfying carrot if you guys want to grow a carrot that's, you know, big and gives you a lot of juice or a lot of food for your buck. This is the one. And then I've got an enormous bag of sugar snap peas because I love them so much. And like I usually say, very rarely do the sugar snap peas make it into the kitchen. Normally, I'm eating them in the garden like a cow, just grazing in the garden. And my wife actually thinks that we grow a lot less food than we do because normally it goes into my belly, doesn't make it inside. Those are my favorite sugar snap peas. And these carrots are also one of my favorites. They're an 8-inch long carrot. They really are big. And if you guys want that satisfying sound that when you pull the carrot out, these are the ones. These are the Kuroda long 8-inch. And I've got some seeds that I've harvested in years past, so let's get to the first raised bed right now, and I'll show you guys how I plant my seeds. People are always asking me, Jake, what's the soil in your raised beds? And Jake, how do you plant the seeds? How deep should you put them? Well, I'm gonna answer those questions right now. You guys ready? Hit the like button if you're ready. Check out my Facebook page at Urban Gardening in Arizona. Let's go to my main garden, to the first raised bed. I'll show you guys how we plant a small seed, and then I'll show you a second raised bed, how we plant a bigger seed. Okay, I got a handful of different seeds, all different kinds, and there's 4 different tips I want to give you in this video. Okay, the first tip is going to be root fruit being green. My friend Justin with Agriscaping, he has this great phrase, root fruit being green. When you're planting out a raised bed garden, you want to rotate your plants every season. So last season it was a root, then it was a fruit, then it was a bean, and then it is a green. Okay, so if you rotate like that, you'll constantly have healthy soil because different plants put different nutrients in the soil, and the sequence of root fruit being green will give the next plant some good nutrients. Tip number 2, how deep to put your seeds. The only way to kill a seed for sure is to put it too deep. So I always err on the side of too shallow. Too shallow in gardening and planting seeds is better and too deep possibly could kill and rot the seed. Okay, so what's inside of my soil? I have many videos on exactly what I put in the soil, both when I amend the beds and when I do the bed from scratch. And I have so many questions on this, what's in the soil, that I made a t-shirt that shows the exact soil blend I use on it. You guys can get these at jakemace.com, and if you guys get them from me, we really appreciate it because it helps us support our garden. So if you guys look, it says the Jake Mace Perfect Soil Blend. It's got biodynamic active compost, 15% coconut coir, worm castings, biodynamic compost, rock dust minerals. Okay, and I have some other notes on the shirt. So check it out, get the shirt. But I'm Jake Mace, the vegan athlete, so I'm gonna have more of an athletic attire for this particular seed planting video. Boom, this feels much better, much better. Okay, my third tip for you guys is in this pot right here. This is the coconut husk that came in a block. And so if you guys have never seen this before, this is what I use in my garden instead of peat moss. I use coconut coir or coconut pith. And see how it's all like nice and ground up, kind of like coffee grounds? It comes in a bag like this, in block form, and I usually try to get a block like this for under 10 bucks. So this one I got locally here in town at one of the local nurseries. It's $9.99. You take this block out of the package and you put it into like a wheelbarrow full of water and you fill it up. And then when it absorbs all the water, it turns into this. And I put this inside my garden mix instead of peat moss. But my trick that I've done the last couple of years, and I've had a lot of success germinating seeds with this method, is I pour about a 1 or a 2-inch layer of the coconut coir on top of my soil mix. And so I do it like this, and I just spread it out in the bed. Because what happens is that the seeds, they really like to grow and germinate in this coconut coir. A lot of times when you go to like professional nurseries, like my friend Suzanne Velarde, who germinates seeds, she's really professional, and she germinates her seeds in a soil mixture that holds a lot of water, because those seeds need to stay wet when they're germinating. And so I'm going to do the same kind of thing in my raised bed with this coconut coir. I'm going to put it on top, maybe about a 1-inch layer. And that way the seeds have an easy time germinating. They have an easy time growing those sprouts. And then once the sprouts become bigger into plants, the root of the plant will grow through the coconut coir into the compost, into the worm castings, and I will get all that nutrients. Because there's not much nutrients in this coconut coir. The coconut coir is for moisture retention. You follow me? Okay. Any questions, put them in the comments and I'll jump in there and answer your questions in the comments. Now in this raised bed, we decided this year to put the dinosaur kale, because previously there were tomatoes in here, which was a fruit. So now we're gonna put a green, we're gonna rotate the crops. And dinosaur kale is also one of my favorite kinds of kale, and it looks so pretty, and this bed kind of faces the main part of the yard. So we're gonna put the dinosaur kale here so it looks amazing when company comes over. And my wife Pam will have an easy time harvesting the greens when she makes our delicious dinners. So check it out, this is what the seeds of dinosaur kale look like. They're like little black balls, or little brown balls, almost like pepper. And over the years, I have planted my seeds differently. I used to just throw a bunch of seeds in the bed, like put seeds all over the place and mix them all in, and I would harvest everything as microgreens. And the whole bed would be covered in kale. Then I would thin out all the small plants, meaning I would pick out all the ones I didn't want and turn them into a microgreen salad inside. But lately I've liked to be a little more orderly. And so what I do is I pinch about 4 seeds, maybe 5 seeds, and I will just kind of sprinkle them on the ground just like that. So there's 5 in there. Then I go for a green like kale. It can be a little closer together. So I'll just go about every 6 inches. I'll do a 6 inches over here. Then I'll go about 6 inches over here. And then I'll go about 6 inches over here. Do you see me dropping them? I wonder if the camera's picking that up. I hope it is. I'm dropping them right here. Maybe it's, just a few. I have so many of these seeds, so we're not in the apocalypse yet, so I don't have to ration seeds yet. Okay, when the zombies come, maybe I'll be a little more stingy. But I want to make sure that I can get one that works, and then when they all sprout, I'll go back in and I'll pick out all the weak ones and leave the strong one. That'll be in about a month or so. So I'm gonna keep going every 6 inches here. And that way as these guys grow, I don't have to thin as much, and it will look really orderly. It always looks so good when these guys are spaced apart in a very like mathematical way. It looks kind of nice. The other cool thing is I've been gardening here in this in my main garden center now for about 5 years, and so for the most part I get so many volunteer plants, like volunteer cilantro, volunteer tomatillos, volunteer dill, that this is kind of like a living organism in itself. Okay, now I promised you a fourth tip. My fourth tip is when I put the seeds back into the packet, so many times I have dropped dirt in there, I've knocked them over and wasted a bunch, so I always fold it over one time, and I take just a wooden clothespin and boom, just clothespin it shut. Because the old Jake Mace, okay, when he was first starting out gardening, I'd always knock this bag over and spill all my seed. So now I have a little bit more of a professional system going on. And now what I do is I go back over those seeds, I can see them all there. And here's what I do not press them into the soil. This is a very important part. Remember what I said, too deep can kill the seed. And so a little seed just like that kale seed, look, here's what I do. That's it, you guys. Then the next pile. Boom, that's it. The next pile. I barely sprinkle a little bit of the coconut coir on top of them. And when I do that, and then I water it, they're gonna be the perfect depth to germinate. So typically the rule of thumb is whatever the diameter of the seed is, never put it deeper than that diameter under the soil. Does that make sense? So if the seed is a millimeter big, if it's really, really small, like a kale seed, I just put it barely under the soil, just enough to go like that. You know, it could even be on the surface of the soil and the roots will find a way in there. But too deep, you'll suffocate it and you'll kill it. If the seed is bigger, like you guys get the moringa tree seeds from jakemace.com, those moringa tree seeds are like an inch, or maybe like a half an inch. So I put those about a half an inch under the soil. So whatever the diameter of the seed is, big or small, put that seed, that diameter under the soil. Make sense? We did it, you guys. We caused life to happen. All right? If you guys subscribe to my channel, I'll come back to you guys with some video updates of how these seeds are growing over the course of the fall. I know a lot of you guys are getting into the winter months now in most parts of the world or the country, but in Arizona and Phoenix, we're getting into our best growing month right now. So here's the thing. I have my irrigation system here, this 1/4 inch line you guys saw when the video first began, and that has an emitter every 6 inches. But I don't rely on that with new seeds because the seeds are so small, they don't have any roots yet. So that water won't get to those seeds. Once the seeds become like 6-inch tall plants, then those roots can make it to the drip line. For now, I'm going to water with a hose until those seeds germinate. And I got this flat nozzle like that on the hose. So I'm gonna just have it be a nice low flow, just like it's raining. And I'm gonna gently, using sensitivity, you gotta be strong yet sensitive, yin and yang, go right over top of the coconut coir and water those seeds in. And I'll do this maybe about 3 times a day, depending on how hot it is. It's still in the high 80s, low 90s here in Phoenix. It's first week of October. So I'll do this about 3 or 4 times a day until those seeds grow into about 6-inch tall plants. Once they're about 6 inches tall, I'll have the drip line work on a timer and do all the work for me. And look at this guy. I get these bugs from everywhere. There's like a little millipede here. I get such a cool abundance of life in my garden now. There's all kinds of good stuff going on. There's praying mantis, there's lizards, and all kinds of cool stuff. Okay, we're over here at the next raised bed. I call this one the living wall because this is a wall that protects my tortoise and my dogs from going into the pool if I don't want them to. So the tortoise will drown, and so this keeps them alive. And then I grow stuff in it, so it's a living wall. And I just thought of something while I'm prepping this bed for the seeds. I just thought how, you know, I'm pretty much an introverted kind of guy when I'm not teaching the class in front of a lot of people, when I'm not doing a video. I'm pretty quiet and pretty much alone most of the time. You know, I rise to the occasion when I teach because I've been a teacher my whole life. And I do enjoy being in front of a crowd, but I re-energize my energy, my chi, alone. You know what I mean? And usually that means that I also procrastinate a lot. I usually wait till the last minute because I need that stress of the last minute to motivate me to do a good job. And so most of the stuff I do in life, I wait till the last minute and then I do a pretty awesome job with it, okay? But for some reason, the one exception is gardening. I seem to do a pretty good job of preparing in advance for gardening for some reason. Like if I'm bored one day, you know, and I don't have anything to plant, I'll prepare the soil. I'll put some good compost down or some worm castings or the rock dust powder or the coconut coir, and then I'll feel good like the bed is prepped and I can let the rain on it and activate that soil, and then it will be ready to go when my seeds are ready to be planted. So for some reason, I've done a pretty good job of not being a procrastinator when it comes to gardening. I usually tend to think ahead when it comes to gardening, so maybe that's why I like it so much. Okay, in this raised bed, we're gonna put the carrots this year because last year were all the greens. So we're gonna put a root this time. And this is also a close raised bed to my kitchen, so it's really easy access to come from the kitchen into the raised bed, get the carrots, and go back into the kitchen. I have two different kinds of carrots here. I'm gonna plant them together. So if they cross-pollinate, I'm okay with that, okay? But here's the thing about carrots. Carrots are a tricky plant to grow from seed, and here's why. Because carrots have a very small seed. In fact, I'll show you what they look like right now. That's what the seed of the carrot looks like. They're so small, I mean, they're really small. And so, if you guys don't know any better, it's very easy to plant too many carrot seeds, and it's the one plant that's very difficult to thin out. Carrots are very hard to thin out. So if you overplant too many seeds of carrots, you're pretty much screwed because every one of your carrots will be super small and they won't mature into nice sized carrots. So I have learned over the years, when it comes time to plant carrots, calm the hell down, all right? Don't go nuts. Be frugal with your carrot seed, all right? So here's what I do. My hands are full of soil now. I'm gonna just pinch them like this. And from about this high off the ground, there's no wind, so I won't get any wind to blow the seeds away. Very carefully spread my seed all over the living wall. Okay? And every single year, I swear to God, I plant less carrot seeds, and then every year in about a month from now, it's always too many. Okay, and if you plant less carrot seeds, the ones that do grow into plants, into carrots, will be huge and amazing. And so I'd really recommend to be frugal with your carrot seed. And so this kind I'm planting right now is the Kuroda 8-inch long carrots. And I just planted about a small handful in this nice size area right here. And as usual, Venus is my partner over here. Our Australian healer, cattle dog. So you can see how all the carrot seed is still on top of the soil. And I really planted the least amount I've ever planted. So hopefully this year we'll have an amazing crop of big giant carrots, okay? Now, once I'm done with that, I just do this. Again, just a little bit of a messing up of the soil on top. And this just kind of what I call it settles them in. For those of you who deal with bare root fruit trees, we're kind of healing them in. You guys, it's really easy to put the carrot seeds too deep. Don't go too deep, nice and shallow. They're going to find soil, don't worry about it. The roots will find the soil. The only thing that can harm you with planting too shallow is that the next morning when you're sleeping in till like 10 in the morning, because it's Saturday, you don't have to go to work, you wake up, and there's a bunch of birds in your garden eating all your seed. That kind of stuff makes me insane. But I know that this raised bed is patrolled by my dogs. You know, we do have 2 mutts and 2 Australian healers, so they are pretty athletic dogs, and they scare all the birds away for me. My dogs are kind of the secret service of the garden. Now that all those carrot seeds are in there, I'm going to again do that nice soft rain style sprinkle and water them in. And the water is the catalyst that will activate the seed's germination. Same thing with this bed. I'm going to water it about 3 or 4 times a day until the carrots sprout and grow into plants, and then I'll let the irrigation system turn on and do the rest. You guys, all in a day's work, that's it. It's that simple. But a lot went into that, you know, a lot of building the soil and building the raised beds and creating a good infrastructure, ordering the seeds, thinking about, is that an appropriate seed for the season that we're in? It's very important. I'm not going to plant my tomato seeds right now because it's October and they won't get mature enough and they won't fruit before the freeze zaps them. So I'm planting beets and carrots and greens and sugar snap peas and herbs, and those things will grow all winter long for me, and they will thrive. And actually the cold makes them taste better and sweeter. We're gonna finish this video today at this raised bed. This one's kind of a shadier microclimate of the garden. So we're gonna put some of the Chinese cabbage inside here so we can make some amazing kimchi. I love the fermented greens, I love it. But this is one plant I don't have seeds for. It's called tree collards, because it doesn't go to seed. I've been growing tree collards for about 4 years now, and I've grown some amazing plants, 10 foot tall and extremely bushy and wide. But for some reason this year, I tried propagating some pups off my mother tree kale plants. My pups didn't make it, then the moms died in the summertime. They were 3 years old. So I lost all my tree collards. Luckily, my friend Greg Peterson had one of my pups that I had given to him in a previous season still alive. And so I can preserve the Jake Mace Longevity Gardens tree collard genetic diversity, or the genetic family line. So not every plant grows from seed. These tree collards, they grow from plants. And you have to propagate them with the cuttings, and look at what Greg has done. He's got some incredible worm life going on inside there. So that's some good looking soil. So I know that these guys can get really tall, really massive. So we're gonna tuck this guy right here into the corner of this raised bed so that he can grow into the light and he won't shade out the other plants that are in this garden. And that's how simple growing from plants is. And I'll have to stake this guy eventually, but right now he'll be growing fantastic. I'll have all the Chinese cabbage all around. So I hope this video helped you guys. If it did help you out, please share it and subscribe to my channel for updates. We have hundreds and hundreds of videos now here at the YouTube channel. We have an online school at jakemace.com for gardening for $5 a month. And you can join my Facebook group for free. It's Urban Gardening in Arizona. Go check it out. We got almost 7,000 members now. It's a pretty good group. You can find me on social media at Jake Mace Tai Chi. I do Tai Chi as well. Jake Mace Tai Chi on Snapchat and Instagram. Thanks guys for watching me. Make sure you guys go vegan, at least do a meatless Monday once in a while, and grow that food at home. This is my raised bed full of mint I'll leave you guys with, and I'll see you next time.